Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse One here. I like to try to jump on a couple minutes early. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Nice to see everybody here waiting. There was like 54 people waiting before we even got started, so that's pretty cool. Can everybody hear me okay? Just let me know if you can hear me okay. Uh, hey, Ann's Homestead, can you guys hear me okay? Yep, okay, cool. All right, thank you. A couple things I want to go over real quick before we get started. Again, one of the things, please be kind to each other in here. Have respect for other people and have respect for their views. That's really, really important to me. Not going to tolerate a lot of nonsense. So I do have moderators that watch the chat, and they will block people out if you don't behave yourselves. And I hate to have to do that, have to babysit, but unfortunately, you're going to get people that are going to try to cause trouble and be jerks. But I think that's anywhere in life. Okay, so like I said, my biggest thing is I don't have a problem with somebody having a dissenting view, but do things in a respectful way. Okay, so and the other thing is, like I said, it's just if you have a question when we get to that point, I'm going to do a little bit of a monologue first, talk about my topic. Once I'm done with that, I'll take questions. When you're going to ask a question, please put everything in cap locks so that they kind of stand out to me better. Okay, so that's what I would ask you guys to do. So okay, so basically the title of the talk today, how come people are so triggered and stuff like that. There's a lot of, and I'm going to give you my opinion of why I think this has happened now in the last 25, 30 years. Okay. When I was a kid, we didn't have social media and all this type of stuff that we have now, where everything is instantaneously in your face. Okay. And everybody can put their opinion out there and, hiding behind, their keyboard. And so nobody has to see them and they can attack people and they makes them feel important or whatever. Unfortunately, that is going to happen. Okay. So, but the thing is, it's a lot of it comes down to the media portrays a lot of stuff. And basically in the media today, you are guilty until proven innocent. Okay. So, and I'm going to give you a good example of that. So CNN had a front row seat today with the friend of President Trump, who was arrested down in Florida in his home, and they did the big morning raid. Ooh, where the other guy was allowed to turn himself in, they go and raid this guy's house at 5 a.m, and CNN is right there, so they didn't get the they got the information ahead of time, so they were able to embarrass and humiliate this guy. So, in the court of public opinion, this guy is going to be guilty before anything else happens, even if the guy is completely innocent, which I don't know if he is or not. I'm not the one doing this investigation, but these things are done to humiliate, to embarrass people. Okay. And that's exactly what this was. So it's they want to put him out in the court of public opinion, and automatically he's guilty, which reflects badly on the president. So again, it's manipulation games, and it happens all the time. So you also have a generation where everything offends everybody. A great example is the Make America Great Again hat, okay? And, people get triggered by stupid stuff. People get triggered by the Confederate flag. They get triggered by stuff that it shouldn't make any difference. It's people do different things for different reasons. And it's true. Do some redneck hateful people use the Confederate flag because they hate everybody that's not white? Sure they do, but not everybody, guys. Okay, people that wear the Make America Great hat again, they're not all supremacists, and they're all not hating everybody that's not white. It's so ridiculous. Whatever happened, and here's the thing, and I'm gonna talk about this real quick. Okay, it's okay to be pro-black. It's okay to be pro-Hispanic. It's okay to be pro-Muslim. It's okay to be pro any other race except for white. If you are a pro-white, then all of a sudden now you're a racist and you're a white supremacist and you hate all the people. Well, whatever happened to loving your own race? Whatever happened to that? Just being proud of who you are and where you came from. Guys, I have a whole lot of different mixed background in my ancestry, okay? I don't claim to be this, that, or the other thing. I'm an American. And I think that the biggest problem that we have in this country, until all of us, regardless of color, where we came from, if you are an American citizen, even if you're, have come over here done it the right way and got your, your green card, and now you are a U.S. citizen. You're an American, okay? And when we can look at each other and say, he's an American, and I'm an American, we're going to be in a better place. Until that time happens, I think we're in a real sad state. Okay, that's my opinion on that. Now, I'm going to want to hear your guys' feedback on this topic. What do you guys think? I want to hear your feedback, and we can address that in the comments. But I want to make an announcement too, real quick, as we get started here. Tonight, midnight East Coast time, 9:00 West Coast time, I am going to be on the Midnight the Desert. If you go to this website, midnightthedesert.com, okay, and you'll see the thing on there. I'm going to be on a radio show tonight for 2 hours, and I'm going to be being interviewed by Dave, and there's a call-in number, okay. You're going to get Jerry, you're getting a CB radio, and thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. You know what? I don't know a whole lot about CBs and stuff like that. I think it's a good thing to have. I would, if you can, try to talk to some truckers. They would give you a lot better advice than I could on what kind of CB that you should have. So go to a rest area where the truckers hang out. Ask them. They'll tell you. They'll know the information on that. Okay. So for tonight's show, there's going to be a call-in number as well. So I'm going to give you that as well. Okay. The call-in number is 480-571-3540. So I'm going to say that again. 480-571-3540. And I'll make another announcement later on in tonight's broadcast here, and I'll talk about that again. But I'm going to be talking about preparedness on that show tonight. And I'm pretty excited about it. I guess it's got like about 1 million people that listen to this guy's radio show, so it'd be pretty cool. So it's 9:00 West Coast time. It's going to be midnight East Coast time, so it's going to be a late night for me. I took a nap earlier because I'm old, so I have to have my nap. So, all right. So I'd like to see some comments on the topic. What do you think is one of the reasons why people are so triggered today? Let's see. Hey, Chad, how you doing tonight? Pro-human, love your neighbor. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Exactly. The Watchmen, yeah. Very funny, Mike. Okay, so anybody got any questions they'd like to ask about the topic? What are your thoughts are? Because we encourage a victim culture. I agree with that 100%. Everybody's a victim. Poor me, another. I agree with that 100%. It is nuts. I mean, back in the day, and when I was a kid, and this is kind of funny, okay? So when I was a kid, if we got in a fight with somebody and you duked it out, never any weapons were used, you just fought it out, 9 times out of 10 after that fight was over, you both got respect for each other because you stood up for yourself if somebody was picking on you, and a lot of times you became friends. Really, really weird. Not today, man. It's like today, they'll go get a gun, they'll come back and shoot you if you beat them up. So it's a whole different mindset in that aspect. Because real men are not allowed in today's society. Yeah, no kidding. There's definitely the demasculization of men in today's society. They encourage it. They really, truly do, which is sad. They don't want you to act like a man. It's very, very crazy. Promoted victimhood by the news and radical liberals. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, like I said, they want to, they don't want men to act like men. I mean, see some of the stuff these people wear, these clothes that they, Hollywood says that this is in fashion or that's in fashion. Very scary. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. People are sensitive nowadays. Such pansies. The media brainwash them. Yeah, but not I. Yeah, I agree with you, man. It's a lot of it comes down to the media. The media, you can't say anything. You can't speak your own mind and have your own opinions, because if you do, you are going to offend somebody. It's one of the things that I love about having a YouTube channel. I say what I say. If you agree with me, great. If you don't, that's okay too. I mean, I don't ever, put anybody down for having different views. I may not agree with you, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to try to belittle you or humiliate you because you think differently than I do. And that's how we should be able to do it. We should be able to have a civil conversation, put their point of views out there, and why your talking points, why you feel the way that you do. But unfortunately, a lot of people today, it's not like that. Not like that at all. Oh, yeah, it's got about tea. Got my teacup here. Are you ready for Shizzle Hits the Fan? So, hey, Carlos, how you doing, man? Nice to see you tonight. Thank you very much again. I appreciate that. Very nice of you. There's no more freedom of speech. That is for sure. They will try to suppress your opinion if it doesn't go along with the narrative that the media is putting out there, or should I say, people like, like the people that control the media. Basically, they give a narrative of what they want to put out there, and if you don't agree with that, then you're attacked and you're a horrible person. Too many parents let stuff slide with their kids instead of holding them accountable. You are correct. I agree with that 100% too. I am very old school. As you can tell with my children, they say please, they say thank you, they say yes, sir, they say no, sir. My son will hold the door not only for ladies, he'll hold it for men too. That's how he was raised. My daughter knows that you wait until I open that door before you walk in there. Very, very old school that way. A lot of that is gone now. Kids have zero respect. Not all of them, guys. Let me just put that out there. There's some parents out there that are raising their kids the right way. But a lot of kids today, there's no respect for anybody, so they don't care. Life is worthless. They don't care about life. Do I still think SHTF will happen? I think it will happen. I absolutely believe that it will. I can't say exactly what the event will be. It can be any number of things that could trigger it. We live in scary, scary times. I mean, and, the news around the world is instantaneous. I mean, you look at what's going on right now. Basically, there's a new war going on over in Syria between Iran and Israel, okay, right now. And it's not really being put out there in the news as much, but it is definitely happening, definitely happening. But the biggest thing I would say with people, too, we need to have our kids have respect for their elders. The family unit is gone. It's absolutely gone. You have single mothers trying to raise children. They're trying to work full time, and hopefully the school raises their kids, which is a horrible way to do it. The fathers need to be involved in their children's lives, even if the mother and the father, don't get along anymore. They got to try to make a happy medium compromise for the children's sake. Yes, Drummer Girl, I agree with you 100%. She says the type of SHT event will probably be a surprise to all of us. I agree with that. I agree with that a lot. It's when it happens, I believe it's going to be a shock for everybody. People are going to be like, oh my God, I did not see that coming. I think that's how it's going to end up being, guys. I really, truly do. What situation is most likely to trigger an SHTF event? Okay, 3 that I can think of off the top of my head that could be something that could happen at any point in time. One would be an EMP type of an attack that takes out the power grid, or a supposed terrorist attack that takes out the power grid. Okay, those would be the most likely things in my opinion. Okay, the second thing would be, like some kind of a pandemic, some kind of super bug that comes around and really is taking out a great portion of the populace. That would be around the world. That wouldn't just be in the United States, but it would be something like that as well. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you lost your mother. Thank you for the donation. I'm sorry about that. It's losing your parents, man. That's hard. I mean, I lost my dad about 5 years ago, and I wasn't really close with my dad because he had given me up for adoption when I was 5. But I reconnected with him when I was 27, and we had a friends relationship. So I'm glad I had some kind of a relationship with my biological father. But it's never easy losing a parent. I'm going to tell you what, if something happened to my mom, I mean, anybody that watches the channel knows my mom is, she's a big part of my life, and she'll be back here in the spring, staying with me again in the spring. And she's awesome. I mean, she's got a wit, and she's fun, and she's pretty spry for 75. So it's if I lose her, that's going to be a tough one. It really will be. But so anyway, getting back to my comment, I'm sorry about that. I saw that they had said something, so I wanted to make sure I acknowledge that. With so we said EMP or a grid down type of attack, some kind of a biological thing, or a monetary collapse would be the 3 most likely things, in my opinion, that could, happen realistically at any time. our monetary system cannot continue the way it is. There's going to be some point where it's just got to give. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. How do I drink my tea? Okay, so with my tea, I drink it with honey. I buy local honey so that the pollens and everything from around the area are in that tea. I never buy honey from the store. I buy it strictly from local, beekeepers. So that's how I drink my tea. And I love it like that. It's really, really good. Let's see. Fake alien invasion. Yeah, you know what? I can't put a lot of credence into that one. I don't see that happening as much, to be honest with you. No more boot camp DIs because they are yelling at the recruits. Really? Wow. If that's the case, that's sad, because I'll tell you what, I know for myself, I went through basic training right out of high school back in 1984. So I'm kind of dating myself how old I am. And it made me grow up a ton. I mean, I came out of basic training with a whole different attitude, carried myself in a whole different way. And I got my butt dogged out because I don't know if you guys can kind of tell, I'm a little strong-willed, a little opinionated, and I don't always play well with others. So they had to, they break you down is what they do. So, but yeah, it's, oh, thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you to say that. But yeah, we have a different world now. I mean, like I said, these kids can't take crap anymore. They can't take being yelled at. They crawl up in their little ball. When we have a society where you have to have a space or a safe space because words hurt you, that's insane. That is insane. It's like, grow up, get a pair. Here's an example of something. I was talking to a buddy of mine tonight, and we were talking about my daughter, and Heather's getting ready to go off to college, later this year, and it's scary for me. It is, and because I can't protect her when she's there, and she's going to get a taste of the world that she's been protected from through her life so far. And so, as a father, I know that I've given her the tools that she can have to survive something like that. But it's going to be tough because, I know her and I are going to come. She's going to come back, and her and I are going to have some discussions. And it's going to be an eye-opener for her. It really is. And I think that that's a hard thing as a father. You have to let them go so that they can grow as a person. But I know I've given her the tools. She's got a sharp mind. That kid has got a sharp mind. And she's got way too much of me in her. I'll be honest with you. She's got way too much of her dad in her. So, but that's not a bad thing. Let's see what we got here. Do you think the media is forcing gays, trannies on our youth? That's kind of hard to say. I mean, because I've talked about this a little bit before. They're trying to push more acceptance. Yes. Okay. I will say that. Pushing that on our youth, if your child is bisexual or homosexual, and I've talked about this before, 70% of the animal population is heterosexual, 20% is bisexual, and 10% is homosexual. Regardless, across the board, all animals. Okay. And we are part of that animal kingdom. So if your child is gay or bisexual, that's what they are. There's nothing that you're going to be able to do about that, okay? So I think they're trying to really force acceptance. I'm going to give you a quick story here. My stepfather, who grew up, as a teenager in the 50s, tough dude, real tough dude. Back in that day, what he used to do is he would hitchhike, and he would get picked up by these gay guys, and he would take them to the quarry. Well, he would roll them, meaning he would beat them up, take their money, take their car, and they would never report it, because back then, if they reported it, what are you doing picking up this young teenage boy and stuff like that? So those are the kind of things that happened back in the day. I think it's better to have more acceptance and more tolerance with other people's, lifestyle. I do. I really, truly do. I mean, if it's not affecting me and they're not hurting me, what do I care? Okay. They're not forcing my kid to walk around wearing a dress. They're not. Okay. So, I mean, I think people get so caught up in stuff, and, does Hollywood push it? They sure do. Okay. But, as a parent, you need to sit down with your kid and say, listen, this is a different lifestyle. You have your own opinion on it, and you can share that with your child. But you need to let your child form their own opinion and not just parrot what you're saying. I'm going to give you a great example of that, okay? I worked with a guy when I lived in North Carolina that was half Vietnamese and he was half white, okay? His father was a Vietnam War veteran, and him and I used to have a lot of talks. Real good kid. I liked the kid. And he hated black people. And I used to say to him, I go, dude, why do you hate black people so much? I said, you're a minority yourself. And he was like, well, my father did. That don't mean you have to. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of it, hatred is taught. A lot of hatred is taught. Okay. So that is a shame. And instead of letting your child make up their own mind, who they want to hang out, who they want to be, because they're going to anyway. Okay. And the only thing you're doing is when you try to suppress stuff and make things dirty and bad is you're hurting your child. End of the day, you're hurting your child. So, but the gay community is trying to say that it's okay to be gay, but it's not. That's your opinion. I mean, how does it affect you? If your child is either going to be heterosexual, homosexual, or bisexual, and guess what? There's nothing you can do about it. No matter what kind of crap you put into that child's head, they're going to make their own mind up. They really, truly are. And like I said, that's my opinion, guys. Okay. I mean, I'm not anti-gay. There's only two sexes. Well, again, that is your opinion, and that's fine. You know what? I'm not telling you you're right or wrong. That is your opinion. You can have whatever opinion you want. So I'm not going to keep going on about this. I mean, I kind of told you, where I stand on it. What two consenting adults, folks, do behind closed doors is nobody's business but their own. That's how I feel. Okay. So I don't judge people. I really, truly don't. Some kids cannot even read a clock. You know what, George? You're 100% right. You are 100% right. Oh, after transsexual comes pedophilia acceptance. Bull crap. That's a whole nother can of fish. A whole nother thing. You know what? People that try to push that agenda, again, people that do that try to say that this leads to that, transsexuals are not pedophiles, okay? Now, maybe there's pedophiles in that group, sure, but guess what? There's a lot of pedophiles in normal groups of people too, quote unquote normal, okay? Pedophilia is not normal. Anybody that's a pedophile, and I've talked about this before, guys, and I'm going to say it very, very clearly. In my opinion, there is one cure for pedophilia. And I'm not talking about the 18-year-old kid that's got his 15 or 16-year-old girlfriend and they're having consensual sex. That's not pedophilia. I'm talking about anybody that's over 18 years of age that's trying to sleep with somebody that's 8, 9, 10 or younger, okay? Or 12 even. You know what I mean? There's where your issues are, okay? Or grown men trying to sleep with 12-year-old little girls. There's one cure and one cure only for that, in my opinion, and that's a 22 bullet right here in the back of their head. Guaranteed they will never touch another child again. It's the only way, okay? That's my opinion on that. The normalization's happening right now. I've seen people talk about that. I'm going to tell you what. I think that they should all be killed. All pedophiles should be killed. And like I said, again, I'm not talking about the 18-year-old kid that's sleeping with his 15, 16, 17-year-old girlfriend. I'm talking about grown men going after little children. Those ones, or grown women going after little children. Same difference, guys. So those people, there's only one cure for them. And I would be more than happy to be the guy that doles that out if they bring them to me. I'd be more than happy to do that. Let's see. Lee Man. Okay, whatever you say, Lee Man. Like I said, again, you guys have your own opinions and you can have them, and I respect your right to believe whatever you want. Let's see. Okay. All right, so let's get back onto the topic, guys. What's going on with our kids today? Why is everybody so super hypersensitive? I'd like to see some more of those. Let's see. What you feed grows. Okay, Blue Feather. Yeah, I hear you. All right. Failure of good parenting. That is definitely part of it. when children are not taught to respect other people and themselves. A lot of it comes down with respecting themselves. A lot of kids are going to go out there, guys, and when I was a kid, I was a hellion. I really, truly was. I was a wild child, and my mom could not tell me what to do. There was just no way. She just couldn't do it. I just did what I wanted. So, but what kids are looking for, realistically, they're looking for boundaries. They're looking for rules. They feel safer. Think about this a second. Kids feel safer when there's rules and there's boundaries. They really, truly do. So if you do that with your children, if you set parameters and boundaries, it's going to be better for them in the long run. It really will. Okay. Let's see. Chemtrails making people crazy, Ed. Yeah, sometimes. Do I believe in spankings? Absolutely. But here, let me talk about that a second, okay? So when I was growing up, I had one of my stepfathers, very, very heavy-handed, and he liked to hit me in the head, open hand. One of the neighbors told my mother that she said, your husband hit your son open-handed as hard as he would hit a man. So think about that. That's abuse, okay? But a correction for a child, a couple shots on the behind, I am not against that at all. My stepson, Joshua, I spanked him twice when he was younger. I came into his life when he was 5. Him and his mother and I departed when he was 16, or almost 16. Josh got spanked twice. And both times it was because he was disrespecting his mother, okay? And both of those times, for him, it was one shot on the behind. Heather, I have never had to spank Heather ever once in her life. She always knew what the rules were. She abided by the rules, and she never tested them. Eddie is way, way too much like me. Eddie used to get it quite a bit. I had to learn with Eddie, with his autism, the spankings did not work with Eddie. So what I learned to do with him is use a different tool, taking away privileges. That's a great tool to use, too. Take away privileges. They are not entitled to their phone. They're not entitled. Okay, thank you. Merry Christmas. You know, like, again, guys, you got your right to your opinion. You got your right to your opinion. So, but anyway, so if, with Eddie, taking away privileges worked really, really well with him. So that was a tool that I used with him and I haven't spanked Eddie in years, because I don't need to anymore. I just tell him, if you do not follow the rules, you will lose your computer privileges. So you can take that, guys, run with it. If there's something that kid loves, use that as a tool, as a punishment if they're not behaving, okay? And it really, really works. But no, I'm definitely for giving a kid, if they need a crack on it behind, I have a neighbor here, and their children, the son especially, is a terror. And so he was having a lot of issues in school and stuff like that. They actually pulled him out there doing homeschooling now. And I had said to her, I said, your son needs a good swift swat in the behind. And she goes, oh, well, we don't do that. And I said, well, that's probably part of the problem. The way that this kid talked to his parents, so disrespectful. Here's the thing that I want you to remember. As parents, we're not their friends. You become their friends when they become an adult. As a child, they're a child. They need to follow the rules of whatever rules that you have set. Once they're gone, they can do whatever they want to do. All right, let's see. Too many kids being raised by single mothers. You're right. That is a huge, huge problem that has been perpetuated by the welfare system. When they went in the 60s and said, if the father's not in the household, we can give you more benefits, they perpetuated that and gave these single mothers that opportunity to get benefits as long as the guy wasn't around. And that has become a problem. So a lot of these kids, in poor neighborhoods, their dads are not in the picture. And it's not a white and black thing. It's an adult not being responsible thing. As a man, as a father, I think all parents, men and women, need to be responsible for their children. Yeah, too many children are left to school system. You're right. There's a lot of liberal thinking in the school system that there really is. I mean, those are the people that are becoming teachers. They're the ones that are educating our children. So again, it begins at home. If you give your kids a strong foundation And my thing is, this is like with Heather. Heather loves thrifting is a good example. Okay. So she goes to the thrift store and buys 90% of her clothes at the thrift store. And she loves it, loves getting that deal, thinks it's great. And when she goes to school and other kids will come up to her and they will say, "Oh my God, I love that outfit. Where did you get it?" And she'll tell them, "I got it thrifting." And she said she has gotten looks before like, it's a mindset, guys. If you give that kid that foundation and let them be who they are, not follow what everybody else is doing, let them be that independent person and have their own thought process, they're going to be a healthier adult. They really are. Thrift, yeah, Cheryl, I do too. Getting stuff at the thrift store is great. I mean, if you can get stuff cheap like that, that is absolutely awesome. I mean, when you can, yeah, Goodwill as well, exactly. If you can go and spend $20 and get 4 to 5 different things or more, instead of taking that $20 and still not have enough to buy one pair of jeans that are the in jeans at the moment. Give me that 20. I'll go buy a whole bunch of stuff. I'd rather do it that way. I never cared what other people thought. Never did. I've always been my own person. I mean, I am a jeans and t-shirt kind of guy. So, I mean, that's me. That's my style, and I always will be. Let's see. I did see that they're going to try to force you to register your assault weapons in Chicago or Illinois. Illinois is nuts, man. They're just as bad as New York or in California. You know, we're giving up those rights, guys, little by little. And the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed, and that means something. If you decide to register something, you are giving them complete and utter control. So it is your call. I know when they did that thing here in New York State, a lot of people did not register their weapons. Now, does that make them now criminals? Sure does. But guess what? It's the Second Amendment supersedes any kind of state trying to control people. It's all about control. They're trying to take the guns away. Once they take the guns away, they can do whatever they want to do, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so I've had people say to me, well, people may have guns, but they have drones. You're right. Absolutely. But if you have no way of fighting back, look at the guerrilla warfare tactics used throughout history. Guerrilla warfare is very, very successful. It demoralizes troops. They live in fear. They don't know when the next attack is going to be. So that's where that kind of goes, okay? So here's another thing I was talking about the other day, and I wanted to bring this up real quick, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this too. They talked about, well, we haven't won a war since the Second World War. So like Korea was a tie. We lost Vietnam. Basically we're stalemated in Afghanistan and stalemated basically, supposedly we won Iraq, but you never really control anything. What I want you guys to realize, they will not, okay, so I'm sorry, hon, I didn't see what your comment was. I don't know if you're a guy or girl, I'm sorry, or CA. I didn't see what your comment was. If you could throw that up there again. But war is money. So they don't want to win wars, okay? They definitely do not want to win wars. They want wars to drag out for years and years and years because it is a business. If there is a war, the economy is booming, okay? Let me see if I can't click on that and see okay. Oh, yeah, okay, yep. Thank you very much. Yeah, you're right. We do need to stand up for our rights because a lot of other places, your rights around the world have been taken away, okay? So, yeah. We are definitely, there's enough people out there that are going to say no eventually. It's going to come down to that. That could be another issue. That could be the straw that breaks the camel's back, where people have had enough of them trying to take our rights away, and they're going to say no. And if that comes down, that would be bad. Let's see what we got here. They will take away ammo first and make it very difficult to afford or get. So you're right. Yeah, they will try to control that. They were doing that in New York here, where for a long, long time, you could not get 22 ammo. It was like almost impossible. I mean, in any kind of quantity, you just couldn't get it. So that happens a lot. Okay. I've talked about this a little bit before, and I'm going to reiterate this again. If you have a weapon, whatever weapon that may be, my advice to anybody, minimum 2,000 rounds per weapon. Now, you want to stay proficient in that weapon, so you're going to need to have more than that, okay? But minimum on hand at any one time, you need to have at least 2,000 rounds. That's my advice to anybody that has any, and that's per weapon, okay? So, let's see. Really, Merry Christmas just said that the thrift stores where he's at are more expensive than buying it new. That's sad. It's not like that here. I mean, we get some great deals. I mean, you'll go in and you can get a pair of pants for like $4 or $5, shirts for $3, $4, and it depends on the day. Like I think Wednesdays are half off days if it's a white tag, or a yellow tag or something like that. So, do I recommend buying guns and ammo? Absolutely, I do. You have to have a way to be able to defend yourself. Okay, you're going to have a way. When SHTF happens, guys, and this is something I want you to remember, okay? When that flip is switched, when that day happens, and I believe it'll be that quickly, okay? It's too late to go to the store then. It's too late to go get anything else. You're going to have what you have, and that is it, okay? So that's real important to remember. So, you really need to think about that. What do I have? What do I need? And, I believe that, having guns and ammo, I think, is a very pertinent thing to do. I think everybody should have at least minimum 2. You should have a 22 and you should have a shotgun. If you can add a pellet gun on top of that, if you can add a rifle on top of that, that's great. You can only shoot one at a time. Okay, remember that. That's another thing too. You guys got to think about. You can only shoot one at a time. But burying underground. Okay, yeah, I absolutely believe that you should probably have something cached away, weapons wise, and ammo and magazines and those type of things. I absolutely think you need to do that. Yes, 100%. Yes. Okay. Yep. Papa. Yep. Saw that 9mm too. Yeah. Having a nice pistol is a good thing too. Yes. Yep. Slingshot with steel ball and ammo. Yeah. I absolutely agree with that 100%. Crossbow, compound bow. You need silent killers as well, guys. Really important. All right. So we got about 440 people in here right now. I'm going to mention this again. So if anybody that's just coming in tonight at midnight East Coast time, I'm going to be on midnightthecoast.com. If you go there, I'm going to be interviewed by Dave, and it's 9 o'clock West Coast time to 11 o'clock. There's a call-in number, and that number is 480-571-3540. So I will be on there tonight if you guys want to come over and listen to that and check that out. He's going to be asking me a bunch of questions, and we'll be talking on there about preparedness. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. Okay, because we're going to be reaching, I guess he said, what I was told is like an audience of about 1 million people. So I think that'll be a really cool thing, and hopefully we can wake some more people up. Guys, this is all about waking up as many people as we possibly can. That's really important, okay? The more people that we can wake up, the more people that we can get to prep, that's less people that we're going to have to worry about fighting against when the time comes. And I want you to think about that too, okay? So... let's see. Aren't you afraid of being jailed for killing, though? Thoughts and dilemma. Well, you know what? In an SHTF situation, you're going to do what you need to do to survive. Will rule of law come back? I have no idea. Maybe it never will. But if you're going to hesitate in that moment and not protect yourself and your family, then you're going to be the one that's dead. So when that time comes, I don't know if you guys have ever heard this phrase, he who hesitates is lost. You need to really be proactive and do what you have to do to protect your family, your group, and the people that you care about, because the bad guys, they don't care about the rules. They're not worrying about later on down the road what might happen. I'm not going to worry about that. And if that time came, I would cross that bridge when I got there. But I'm going to tell you what, whatever comes up, I plan on having my people, my family survive. And I will do whatever is necessary to do that, okay? Let's see what we got here. Yeah, government will issue pardons. Too many people to investigate and prosecute. You're right about that. Let's see. I will protect my family first and foremost over anyone else. Absolutely. That's how you have to be. This isn't going to be a game, guys. This isn't going to be like a video game that we play where, oh, no, that time didn't work out. I'll reset and do it again. It's not going to be like that. All bets are off. If there's a complete breakdown of societal things, here's something I want you to think about. I just talked about this with somebody the other day. Look at how we treat each other right now in our society with rule of law. Look at how we treat each other now. We're awful to each other. Horrible. Okay? Not everybody, but there's a lot of cruelty, a lot of bad things happening now. I think that when SHTF happens, think about how it's going to be then with no rule of law and there's no consequences for your actions. What do you think people are going to be like then? That's something to think about. Okay, so you're going to need to protect your family. You're going to need to protect your group and your friends, and you're going to have to watch each other's back. And and I've talked about it over and over again. We won't be able to do it alone. You just can't. Let's see. Yeah, you don't have mass shootings in Australia, but you have mass stabbings. I mean, people. If somebody's crazy, guys, and they're going to find a way to kill somebody, they're going to find a way to kill somebody. They don't care. Timothy McVeigh, did he use a gun to kill 168 people in the federal building in Oklahoma? Nope. He used fertilizer. Okay. If there's a will, there's a way. So, think about that. If people really want to kill you, they're going to kill you. You don't have to have a gun to do it. They can do it other ways. Mass stabbings in the UK. Exactly. I mean, that's now I know that I saw that in London, I think it was London. If I'm mistaken, please correct me, where they were telling people that, drop off your knives now. People are nuts. They're nuts. So, and again, it's control. You guys over in the UK, I love you guys. I've talked to some of you guys when I did my motorcycle trip. All the guys that were on that and women were from the UK. And great people. Loved you guys. Guys were awesome. But you are completely and utterly controlled over there. I mean, you can't do anything, which is sad. It really, really is. I mean, you guys, you've been, talk about being demasculated. That's one of the ways right there. No locking knives in the UK. Yeah, that's so nuts. Absolutely nuts. So what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to defend yourself? That's what, guys, that's ultimately what it's all about. Like here's the thing with the media. The media will portray these mass shootings like crazy. They'll throw it out there, shock and oh my God, how horrible and all those type of things. But what they won't show is when a crazy person with a gun was taken out by a good guy with a gun, meaning average Joe citizen, not the police. Average Joe citizen who was in the right place at the right time, and crazy person came in and started shooting up, and they took him out. They're not going to. The media don't want that. That doesn't fit the narrative. That doesn't fit the agenda. So they're not going to promote those type of things. But that happens a lot. In London, you can't even have a baseball bat. Jeez, unreal. I feel sorry for you guys, man. I really, truly do. I really do. Let's see. I'm trying to see if we got some questions here or not. We can get guns in Canada. There's a black market here. When people mass shoot, okay, the thing is, there's always going to be a black market to get whatever you want. And I've talked about this a little bit before. Rochester, New York is about an hour north of where I'm at. Okay. And if I went down there inside of 20 minutes, if I have the money, I can get whatever I want to get. Okay. You can get whatever you want to get. Do I recommend doing that? Not really, because if you get caught and if you buy something from somebody undercover, you're going to end up in jail. I mean, but the thing is, if you want something, you can get it. There's always, if there's a will, there's a way. So even in the UK, I mean, let's see, average gun owner in the U.S. is a better shot than the police. You're right about that, James. That is for sure. You see these shootouts the police have, and, they shoot 45 times and hit the person like maybe 3 times. The average citizens that knows what they're doing, they can shoot. Okay, they can definitely shoot. HUD housing that I live in doesn't allow firearms. Any suggestions? Again, a cache. Having a cache buried away someplace with what you need to have when that emergency comes, that's the way to do it. Okay, that would be my advice to anybody living in HUD housing where you're not allowed to have a gun, or have it very, very well hidden so that if the police come in there, they're not going to find it. Okay, because I mean, if you're not breaking any laws, if you bought things legally in the right way, you have a right to defend yourself. And so, what happened to the ammo stored buried outside? And if it freezes, well, that's why, and I've talked about this before, you want to bury your caches under the frost line. Once you, like New York State, the frost line is 24 inches, okay? Once you get below 24 inches, the ground temperature is going to stay a very steady temperature of 58 degrees. That's just the way it is. I don't know why that is, but that's just the way it is. So once you get below that frost line, that temperature, you're not going to have the fluctuation. I don't care if it's the middle of summer or the middle of winter. That temperature is always going to be 58 degrees under the frost line. So you go down 3-4 feet, you vacuum seal your stuff, you bury it in containers. Here, I did a video on this, okay? I had a plastic container that I had gotten that actually Brian had brought it to me. It was a screw top, big round thing, okay? Vacuum sealed all kinds of stuff. Then I took those vacuum sealed stuff and I put them into contractor garbage bags. So they were sealed a second time that way. All right. I actually also buried a 5-gallon bucket of food, freeze-dried food, not freeze-dried food, but regular food in a 5-gallon bucket that was all vacuum sealed. So it was already in the bucket, vacuum sealed, that's sealed, put that also in a contractor garbage bag. Everything went into a contractor garbage bag, put into that plastic container. That was sealed up. We dug our hole, put that stuff underground, and that stuff will be fine. You're going to be fine. How long until you get the website with the prepper stuff? I will be, like I said, I'm looking into that right now. I will announce that on, here when I do one of my live streams, that we can, so you guys can all kind of try to connect. We're going to try to get going with that really, really soon. Yeah, Merry Christmas just put on here. Muslims will run you over with trucks. Exactly. So there's a will, there's a way. If they want to kill you, they're going to kill you. So they're looking for big targets, they're definitely, they're looking for big body counts. So that's what they're looking for. Gone off topic, I think. Always, drummer girl. It's what happens. People, I'm an LPN, Mark. I'm an LPN. I was a CNA for 5 years. I have been an LPN for 24. So long time. Yes, Philip, it did come through. Yep, I got it. Oh, please explain my well setup. Okay, so my well, the way my well is set up, I have a 120-foot deep well. And my well, I'm very, very lucky, is an artesian well. And what an artesian well is, the water is always coming up no matter what. So if you took the cap off of my well and looked down, the water's right there. It's right there. The water's, so because the water's always coming up, okay? So the way I have my setup, I have a pump in my well, okay? But I also have it set up where I have a line running from my well up closer to the house where I have a 1,000-gallon storage tank that I put in. And I'm very, very fortunate, again, the way that it's set up like that, the water will automatically fill that tank up. Now, in the summer when we're having a really dry season, I'll have to turn the pump on to get that going, and then it usually does okay and it fills up on its own. But if we have a grid down situation, I can access, I'll just take the cap off the well and I got water right there. But with the 1,000-gallon storage tank, the way we have it is that water's right there for use. And then I have a pump above me here. You'll see the black or the blue line here, okay? It goes right up into the pump, which I have up in the crawl space above us. And that pumps the water from my storage tank into the house. So that's how we get our water here at the homestead. What do I think about Roger Stone going to jail? I kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. Merry Christmas. And thank you again. I think it was the media, the way that they did that with him was all done. It was a big grandstanding thing. CNN, of course, was there. They were brought in to have the cameras out there. They raided his home in the morning and to put on the big show where the other guy was allowed to turn himself in. This guy wasn't going anywhere. He should have been given the opportunity to turn himself in as well. Again, the court of public opinion is what they want to try to influence. So they're proving guilty. You're proven guilty until you prove yourself innocent, which is absolutely wrong. It should not be like that. Okay. So that's what I think with, is my water potable? Yes, it is. I could drink it just regularly if I wanted to. I do with my water. I filter all my water anyway, just as an added precaution. So any water we're going to cook with or drink with, I put through my Berkey water filter. But when we wash dishes or we take a shower, we just use that regular well water. So I have no issues with that whatsoever. What is your fuel of choice for a bug out vehicle? Well, I mean, if you can, you need to have extra gas on hand. I'm a big believer in that. I think it's really, really important to have extra gas on hand. So that is definitely something that you need to be doing. Okay. Also, you need to think about, can you set up some kind of solar thing? Like they have, I don't know if there was a show on where they set up a solar car where they ran the car off of solar. If you can get a gasifier, you can run a vehicle with wood gasification. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I mean, if you have the money and the time, there's a lot of ways that you can do it. Okay. Let's see. I'd get a motorcycle and be able to ride well. Yeah. I mean, riding a motorcycle is one way of doing it as well. I mean, you're going to be a lot more maneuverable on a bike. I love riding, so I mean, that goes without saying. Anybody that's followed my channel for any length of time knows I love to ride. So, water should be boiled during SHTF? Yes, absolutely. Water definitely needs to be boiled. If you're using, like I said, you're going to want to have, depending on where you're going to set up your latrine in an SHTF situation, you want that downstream of your water source. So that's something you want to think about. Let's see. Dirt bikes. Yeah, that's another thing too. Absolutely. Dirt bikes would be a good thing. They say the government will be open for 3 weeks. What do I think of that? What will happen when it shuts back down? Well, you got to remember, guys, first of all, even if it's open right now for the next 3 weeks, they've already given out February SNAP benefits. Okay. If they shut the government down for 3 weeks and then shut it down, or open it for 3 weeks and then shut it down again, they may not be giving out benefits in March. So I think that's going to be really kind of a tipping point at that point, something to keep an eye on, because I think that that's going to be very, very interesting when we get to that point. What do I think power outages will affect vehicles? Do you think about Trump declaring a state of emergency in 3 weeks? Well, power outages for vehicles, like I said, if you have, it depends on if it was an EMP, your vehicles aren't going to work anyway, unless it's pre-1974 or 78, I believe, is when they didn't have the electronic parts in the cars. Those vehicles will still work. Other than that, all our modern day cars will not work at all. Okay, so, but if it's not an EMP and if it's just a grid down situation, your car is still going to work. Like I said, I'm a big believer. I keep an average, I'm up to about 60 gallons of gas that I keep on hand. Between 50 and 60 at any one time, I have between 50 and 60 gallons of gas. What I personally do, I rotate that gas out every 6 months. They have stabilizer, which will help stabilize the gas for a longer period of time. And I actually have stabilizer as well if I need to use that in the future. If we had a grid down situation and whatever gas I had was all the gas that I was going to get, I would use the stabilizer at that point. Other than that, it's like, I would rather just rotate it out every 6 months to keep that gas fresh. That's what I do. So I definitely recommend having gas on hand. Let's see what we got here. How do I store it? Right now, I store it in 5-gallon cans. That's the way I store it. So, and I've had no issues doing that. We've been here 3.5 years. June will be 4 years, and I've done that ever since we've been here, from day one. And I've actually increased the amount of gas cans that I've bought as we continue to stay here. Let's see. Ford 1986 No electronics. Oh, the pickup? Okay, well, if it's not got any electronics in it, it will still work. So, yeah, if you don't have electronics in it, that vehicle will still work. What's the topic again? Choo-choo, come on! You know we don't ever stay on topic. I started in the beginning. I talked about the topic in the beginning, and then I asked for questions, and everybody went, off the rails. So that's kind of how it goes. 55-gallon barrel works well. Yeah, absolutely it does. Yeah, that's definitely one way of doing it. If you want to do it that way too, absolutely, it works very well. If it runs sluggish, then add extra mothballs. Thanks for that advice, Todd. Good advice. Let's see. Doing it for years now with no problems. Okay, well, that's cool. That works. Yeah. I mean, I do 6 months just because I'm being conservative about it. So I rotate mine every 6 months, and that's kind of just how I've always done it. Mark, thank you very much. Yeah, the channel has last year tremendous growth. This year starting off great as well. It really just it's very humbling. I'll be honest with you, very, very humbling that so many people care. Question and answer seems to be an open topic. A lot of times, Stevenson. Yep, it sure does. We start out with one way, and then people just they go off the rails, like I said. Yeah, the government is messing with us. They always will. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I wish it wouldn't have to happen either. People have asked me so many times, do I wish something would happen? Do I hope for something to happen so that I can be proven right, if you will? And I always tell them no. And they're surprised by that answer because, in my opinion, if nothing ever happens, I'm going to be on an awesome property that's completely paid for as long as I continue to pay my taxes every year. I have a very relaxing life now. I got off the hamster wheel, and it's a great, great feeling, and I recommend it highly to anybody. Being as independent as you possibly can be is a great thing. If nothing ever happens in 15, 20 years, I mean, this place is going to be unbelievable. And then I'll be the old man with the big, long white beard talking about it even more then. I mean, I will always, put it out there and tell people that it's doable. You got to remember, I started doing this, guys. I mean, I talked about it for years in my basement when I lived in my older house. We moved here. I was 50 years old when we moved here. Okay. I just turned 50. June 9th was my birthday. We moved out here June 22nd. So this year will be 4 years. June 22nd of this year will be 4 years that we've been here. And so there's no such thing as, I'm too old to do it. I don't care if you're in your 60s. It's never too old, never too old. And it's a much, much better life, a lot less stressful. That's probably the biggest thing. Being away from the rat race, I don't miss it. I really, truly don't. Let me see here. Have you seen Congressman Benefit's speech he gave yesterday? I have not seen that. No, I did not see that speech. What generator should you get for feeding tube feeding tube for suction for my son? Okay, if you can get a generator that you can run on propane, and they do have conversion kits so that you can run your generator either on gas or on propane. Propane is going to be more efficient. You don't have to keep doing the rotation all the time. If you got a big old storage tank, that would be a way to go. Any kind of generator, decent generator, 2,500 watt or better, you should be fine with for your son with a suction machine. So I would definitely highly recommend doing that. If you can convert it to propane and have, like I have a 330-gallon propane tank out here, and then I also have the little 20-pound tanks and a bunch of those as well. So very, very smart, good things to have. Okay. I'm going to do a video, Sonny, on recommended books. I am going to be doing a video on that very, very shortly for recommended books that you guys should have. So look for that, okay? I'll mention the show again. Okay, so before I jump off here, because we're almost done here, our hour's almost up. At midnight East Coast time, 9 o'clock West Coast time, if you go to midnightthedesert.com, it's MIDNIGHTTHE desert.com. You'll see the thing on there. I'm going to be on a talk show tonight for 2 hours. Dave is the host. They're going to have a call-in number if you have a question, and you can talk to us live on the air. And that number is 480-571-3540. Okay? So I will be on that show tonight at midnight. So look for us then. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it'll be really, really interesting. Will stored gas get condensation in it? Yeah, if you let it sit long enough, absolutely, yes, it will. So that's why you need to continually either rotate that gas out or put some kind of stabilizer in that gasoline, okay? Yeah, SHTF, Amy, will definitely be a nightmare. I always tell people, when you think of the worst possible scenario, times that by 10, that's what SHTF is going to be like. It is not going to be pleasant. It's not going to be some kind of fantasy. Any prepper out there that has been prepping for any kind of length of time doesn't want it to happen if they're in their right mind. If they're a crazy son of a gun and can't wait for the end of the world, then yes, they're excited about it, okay? It's not going to be a good thing. Too many people are going to die. Too many good people are going to die, and unnecessarily so, okay? So, will a lot of bad people die? Sure they will, but a lot of good people will as well. So, and we're all going to lose family members, guys. I mean, there's, I'm not going to sit up here and say my family will be fine, we'll be untouched. That's unrealistic, okay? So, I don't want to lose anybody in my family. I love my family, so, those are things you want to think about. So don't hope for something like that to happen, because it's not a pleasant thing to think about. Yeah, Watchman just put it up there, guys, so you can see that. That's where I'm going to be at tonight at midnight, East Coast time. I live off grid. Please help me. I missed it. I'm sorry. It went really, really fast. What do I think of the Walmart turning into FEMA camp? Is that a sign of SHTF happening? You know what? Them turning them into detention centers, or processing centers even. We had a couple of Sam's Club in the Rochester area close, and both of the ones that they closed down in Rochester were very, very successful. So I was very suspect of that when that happened. Could they be turned into that? Absolutely can be. They're going to have to process people somewhere. They're going to have to house people someplace. A lot of people are going to be in line looking for help. Somebody just wrote in here, everyone in prison will be released into the public or starved. I've talked about this a little bit in videos, and I really don't want to get into it much now because we're almost out of time. But I think that the worst of the worst will be put down, in my opinion. I think your lower risk prisoners will be released, but I think your more violent prisoners will be put down if there's a SHTF situation, or they'll be locked in and left of their own device. So I think that's what will end up happening in that situation. My thoughts on the propaganda of the media. I could go on and on and on about that. The media does not have your best interest at heart. I've talked about this a little bit before. Do your own research on stuff. The media is given a script to read to you. They're being told what to tell you. You are not getting the full story, okay? So look for alternative news sources. Look for overseas news sources to see what they're saying about whatever the situation that may be here in the United States or whatever country that you're in. Think for yourself and look at stuff. If it looks like BS, it's probably BS, okay? Oh, hold on a second. I got to go back to that real quick. If you want to shoot me an email, preppernurse1@yahoo.com. Give me your number, and I will call you. Okay, and I can try to help you as much as I can. All right, guys. Well, listen, it's 9 o'clock now, so I'm going to jump off here again. 3 hours from now at midnight East Coast time, I will be on Midnight the Desert. .com. If you go there, you'll see I'm going to be on a radio channel there for 2 hours. And I think it'll be a lot of fun, okay? So look for that, and I will see you guys later. Remember, we are all in this together, guys. That's real important to remember. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen. Hug and kiss the ones you love, okay? So we don't know what's going to happen. So make sure you tell the people that you care about how you feel about them. And remember STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there, guys, is you. That's it. Okay. So, stay strong, stay focused, and you'll be fine. Don't be afraid. Just stay focused. Do the best you can. Remember, if you have only a 2-week supply of food and water, you are in a better position than the 95% of the people in this country. So that's important, okay? I will see you all later. Hopefully, I'll see you guys later tonight on the other radio show. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse One, out for now. I'll see you.